cold cases to serial killers, missing persons, and more.
100% he did this.
I'd go off in the fantasy world.
How much more lucky can you get that you're not on death row?
You want to know what we know.
My name is Jay. This is Guilty of Crime.
What is up, everybody? Hopefully we get a packed audience in here tonight. We have Mr. Strategic backstage, and I'm going to go ahead and just do a quick introduction and have everybody hit that like button for me. I just watched a video with Strategic right before this, so we can talk a little bit for a second about the Trump thing if you guys want to. That's why I have the flag back here once I bring them on. But today we're talking about ALEXEE TRAVIZO. Now, I know it's nothing new. And hello, Mom. Thanks for being here, Mom. This is going to be a good one. We're talking about the new things today in the ALEXEE TRAVIZO case. And Mr. Strategic, as you know, he's police officer, New York. Leave it at that. He's got the knowledge and the skills. So we're going to bring him on today. Strategic, you might want to check your dual streaming. If you can hear me, it said when I started the live that you were having problems on your end. Anyway. All right, so hello, all in tanks, Savage Barbie saying hello, Mel, Wolfpack, Melly, what's going on? Everybody hit that like button. Again, let me just give you a quick overview of ALEXEE TRAVIZO. If you don't know this case, just think of it this way. It's the girl, they call it the girl that threw her baby in the trash can at the hospital after giving birth. ALEXEE TRAVIZO is a 19-year-old high school cheerleader from Artesia, New Mexico. She found herself at the center of the devastating case. Well, she did that to herself. That's my stance. I think they're going way too easy, folks. What's up, a key? They're going way too easy on her, and you're going to see every corner that we turn seems to be on her side, which is interesting. January 22nd, 2023, she went to the emergency room at the Artesia General Hospital. She was complaining of lower back and abdominal pain. Her whole family was there. Little did anyone know that it would lead to a series of events that we're now at. So she gives birth to a baby in the bathroom, locks herself in there, blood all over. I have pictures that I actually want to show you guys of the trash can with the baby. It's not that graphic, it's just bloody kind of rags and such. So if you don't know the case at all, that's why I wanted to break it a little bit down so everybody can know about it before getting into the details of this. And yes, True Crime Strategic Eye is behind the scenes. We're collaborating. I'm going to bring him on in a minute. I just wanted to give my normal introduction so you can see me and understand what we're doing here. So thank you all for being here. If anyone doesn't know about the case, we're going to cover more of it. It was 12:51 a.m. when her positive pregnancy test results came back, and a nurse removed her IV at 1:39 a.m. So, 50 minutes later, they were giving her, they were pumping her full of things to make her feel better, which we'll get into. After that, she ran to the bathroom down the hallway, and at 1:56, almost 2 a.m., she unlocked the bathroom door finally before the nurse attempted to use a key. She returned to her room unassisted, and this is almost an hour and a half later, the infant was pronounced dead. So there's a whole bunch of things in between this. Now ALEXEE has filed a lawsuit. It's not funny, but she filed a lawsuit against the hospital where the child was found in the trash can. She's charged with first-degree murder. She's out on bond right now. All right, so she was taking weight loss pills. She was cheerleading and doing all kinds of craziness. And you can't make these stories up, folks. So that being said, I am going to bring Strategic up so I can show some of the pictures before we get into the video. All right, everybody, welcome Strategic. Don't forget to hit that like button, everybody. What's up, Strategic?
Hey, what's going on? How you doing, Jay?
I'm doing well. I'm even better now that you're here, and everybody welcomes you. I appreciate my subscribers for being so kind. How are you doing?
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. I'm doing all right. Happy to be here. It's always great collaborating with you. Just want to say real quick, just want to pray for the country because we had a big tragedy that happened where somebody tried to assassinate one of the candidates. Right now, we're just Americans. Who cares what political party we're in? I just want to say it's just a sad day that happened. But anyway, we're here and we're back to business as usual because, there are victims that we need to focus on.
Right. And, I was going to bring that up as well. It's something you can't ignore. So I do want to say to people, however, if you're in chat, please talk about it in a respectful way with each other. Let's not argue or anything about anything because, well, it's not a political thing. It's just it's something that happened that shouldn't have happened. I don't know why the pictures aren't coming up. 1 second. I've got the whole batch in there. Give me a sec.
Sure.
The internet's being a little weird today.
Maybe because it's on fire right now, like everybody's.
It's on fire. There's actually wow! I didn't even realize there was 124 people in here. Wow! If we can't share these, then I won't be. I don't know why it's doing that. It's showing the whole damn thing. Let me try again. But so I have a bunch of great pictures of Alexei I wanted to show you because she's got pictures of when she's not pregnant versus when she is, and when she claims to not know she was pregnant. So I mean, that's kind of my thing. I'm like, it's really interesting that you didn't remove this. It's kind of interesting that she says that she didn't know. Right. What's your opinion on that? I mean, you're looking into the case. What's your feeling on that? I guess
I kind of just jumped into this. Like, I read it when it happened initially, and I kind of just jumped into it. Like, hey, I want to go through the autopsy, etc. Okay. I didn't get to see her pictures before and after.
Oh, good.
So this is new for me right here. Yeah.
Good. Let's take a look at these. Hello, M, one of my favorite people on the planet, Adam. Go follow Adam Drives Helen, even though it's not down there. We're going to go through these pictures with Mr. Strategic. These are really high quality pictures, a photo shoot of her, and then you'll see as it progresses. It's crazy. It's crazy because I don't understand how she didn't know. I think, but they're going easy on her either way. So that's my feeling on it.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if they're going easy on her, but I guess we'll talk about that in a bit. But
yeah, let's talk about that. Yeah, that's why it's good to have you on here. As we go, we'll see. I feel like it's a bit easy. She's out on bond, going to college. I mean, well, we'll talk about it. We'll see what easy is for me versus you. All right, so here's some of the pictures of her that she's taken, and this is within the same time frame, in the same year. Let me know if they're not working. If I'm not, am I scrolling through okay?
No, it's looking good.
Oh, okay. I can't see right now.
She look like she's living her best life right now.
She does, but she doesn't look pregnant. No? You're going to see the difference soon.
Okay,
and this is the same time frame, right? She does look she looks like a baby though. She looks like a little girl, and I know she's not that young. And now look at her. All right, not living her best life, but you can see her face is filled out quite a bit.
Right.
Like these pictures, right?
Well, this is her perp pictures right here. All right, so now we're seeing the cheerleader pictures. You said you can't see it, right?
No, I can see it. I just can't see the StreamYard and how it's showing it right now.
Okay.
If I want to give you guys the full stream, I can't see it for some reason. Gotcha. Let me see. Yeah. Okay. So I can't scroll through and do that at the same time. Okay. Hello, everybody. And feel free to say hi to any of your peeps or anybody you want to, strategic, as we're going through this, or say whatever you want. All right. So there she is, her TikTok. She doesn't look
she doesn't look too pregnant. I don't know.
She doesn't look too pregnant there. Yeah. So we're still, there's no time frame. She's starting to look a little more there. You see the belly pic and we'll see. Let's keep going. All right. Now check that out. Okay. I didn't know.
She's looking pregnant now. You got the low belly. You only get that low belly with two things: a baby or some bear. That's it.
Yeah. I mean, this is like right before. I mean, so So yeah, Aki says, "Oh my god!" And there's more of these. This is her saying, "I didn't know I was pregnant." She's working with the cheerleading squad. She goes from having this cute little waistline and little teenager style, boobs to like can't even differentiate in that picture, in my opinion.
She got a baby in there. Why they put the emoji with the lion nose, the Pinocchio nose? The internet is undefeated, man.
It is. These pictures, yeah, I got a whole folder of them from Bree. So thank you, Bree, for that. And the whole crew wanted me to cover this. Actually, all the mods wanted me to cover this. So that's why we're here today. And I'm interested in it as well. But they did a lot of the work. I'll give them the credit. All right, let's keep scrolling through this. Yeah, that would have thrown me off right there, that picture, but let's keep going. All right, now look at this one. I mean, let's be real here. Like, what's going on? Now, her boyfriend, she has a boyfriend too at this point, and they're all at the hospital at one point, and it's weird that nobody suspected that. I mean, do you see that?
Yeah.
am I imagining it? Hassan, thank you. My two favorite YouTubers. You make the best collaboration. I agree. Thank you. Yeah, thanks for showing so much love to Strategic, everybody. We want to see his channel get to 100,000 before you know it. So let's get mine up to 50, all right? Let's get it up to 50. I'll be happy with that. What's up, Paul? And everybody, Strategic did remind me that, I just got a big fat bill from StreamYard today, and all those other damn things. I forgot how much it is that I'm actually paying. It's a couple $100 a month to do this. So anything and everything helps. So Sid, I appreciate it. Same on his channel who's streaming, hit the like button, donate if you can. It's expensive.
People think it's just magical that we just press one button and we get here, and you have to invest in this. I don't want to take this show on a tangent, but I bought the $20 mic when it first started, right? And then everybody complained, your sound is horrible. So then I had to do a fundraiser and buy the $500 mic. The only way to get it done is by having the Shure $500 mic. So it costs a lot of money to do this type of work. And people need to recognize that we're not just begging, we're actually just trying to ask for help to stay afloat.
Exactly. And yeah, I rarely ask. The other day I mentioned it, like, hey, if you guys can, that would be great. Anything's appreciated, because the bills started coming. And you're right. People were like, oh, your lighting isn't that good and your sound. So I bought all these, the near stream and all that. And you reminded me that it's expensive to stream. And you got to get YouTube Premium, right? So there's no commercials.
That's right.
So I appreciate you and your membership, Ella Blue, and everybody that's in here so very much. Beverly Johnson. All right. See, and you saw that little video of her. It says ALEXEE TRAVIZO said she didn't know she was pregnant. You can clearly see she was heavily pregnant. So
she got to be on the bottom of the pyramid. That's how big she is.
She is. Watch. Let me go back, because this is, I don't understand how. Yeah, look at that. Clearly.
Wow.
Look at that.
She can't even go on top.
You're right. You're absolutely right. I didn't even think about that. They put her ass on the bottom. Yeah, she's clearly pregnant there. And then here it's there's a boyfriend. Everybody's in the room. This is, just pictures, good quality pictures for you guys to see who we're talking about. This kid knows he didn't use a condom there. Strategic. He's got to know he didn't use a condom that night, man.
He knows.
And what about her period? I mean, right. Some women, though, Caro, some women actually get their period. So I'm not defending her. I actually, Strategic and I are going to have a good conversation about this, because in my opinion, I feel like they're going a little easy on her. Although if it were my daughter, I would want them to go easy on her too. But some women actually do have their period when they're pregnant, and it will be like every few months. So, but just looking at her, she looks pregnant. Let's be real, guys.
Right. And as a young man, this guy is probably, that's something that'd be very stressful for a young guy, even if he wanted the kid. But he would look at his girlfriend who he's probably continuing to have sex with. And
Right.
he would see, my girlfriend is pregnant. He would bring that to her attention. Are you pregnant? Like, what's going on here, baby?
Well, he was constantly cheating on her, and that's what I love about my my moderators. They know everything on the internet that I don't know. So if he was cheating on her and all that, he probably wasn't. He's like, she's getting a little too chubby for me. I'm just gonna go bounce out there. Maybe he wasn't paying attention.
Maybe,
It seems like everybody was looking the other way. Yeah, I do know. Trust me. I'm pretty
sure he was juggling pretty well.
Melly says, I don't know. I believe she knew after a few months, and so do I. I believe she knew, and how she was giving birth in the bathroom. She could have just, even if the baby had passed, she should have just, hey, whatever.
Every bathroom in a hospital has that string, that emergency kind of bell string.
Right.
Like she could have pulled it, like, help me,
Yeah, as you can see, she's really scared there. I mean, we'll watch that in a minute because they show that video every damn time of that original one when we didn't know her name. And go ahead.
Did Marilyn McRae said that she claims that she never had sex? Did you hear that?
Yes, I did. She says that in the room. We're going to listen to that in a minute. It comes up on Court TV.
So she's like, claiming immaculate conception?
She was claiming immaculate conception. Oh man, she was. So she's Mary. Who's that? Is that in the Bible? Oh man, she's all of the above. She's in pure denial, and I do think her mom had a big impact on the way she viewed life, because her mom seems to have scared the shit out of her in there. What's up, Leosa? And thank you all for knowing what's going on with this case. They all knew she was pregnant. Come on now. We got a rodeo clown hat. So you can see the difference clearly here before. And then we're going to start getting into we're going to talk about them kicking that portion out of the trial that's coming up. Okay, there you go. Strategic. I mean, look at the difference there. You think they had sex on... This is before the pregnancy, and this looks like prom night or something. This is probably when she got pregnant. Yeah, we got to laugh. Otherwise, we're got to cry about it. But all right, so here you go. Trigger warning. These are the things. This is what appears to be a newborn baby. It actually is.
Oh, that's so
what
sad.
She threw. Yeah, it's what she threw in the trash.
My God.
I don't know if she panicked. Like she was just scared of her mom and her family being there or what. What's up, Shelly? I'm glad you made it too. She is 19. Yeah, she's older than that now. She was over 18, and her mom still believed she wasn't having sex. So
wow.
Yeah, so that's graphic, and they saw that in the bathroom, and there was blood all over the walls when they got in there. So this is like a pure denial case. Yeah, Paul. Exactly, Paul. Everyone's like, trigger warning. You can't see anything, but I mean, you can clearly see what she did.
Right,
Heiser family seems to me like if anyone was paying attention even a little, especially in the cheerleader outfit, you're gonna know. Right. Thank you all for being here. There's 202 people in chat. Y'all just hit the like button.
Yeah, hit the like button on my end, please, guys. Support the channel.
Yes.
We're dual streaming.
Yeah, we're dual streaming. We have Strategic, which I'm sure one of the mods can drop his link. Keys here too. So I'm sure she'll be on that. All right, let's keep going through these. We're almost there, and then we'll get to the video so we can analyze what's going on in this case. I think that might be it. Well, there's that first video of mom, but we're going to get to that. So I don't know what the hell that is in there. All right, let's get out of there. Now I'm going to pull up the video of where it starts out. Now we're talking about the defense. And here's the video they want to hide from the jury. So we'll talk about this. Anytime you want me to stop, I can. And or I'll just stop and we'll talk about it. But this is what you were talking about the other day that prompted me to get you on here with me. So them hiding that video that we're going to see and then the autopsy, which you sent me the report of the baby, so we can kind of see. And then I also have other plans to show you that what the DA wants to do, et cetera, et cetera. So we'll get into as deep as we can today. All right.
Young woman accused of killing her newborn baby. ALEXEE TRAVIZO was only 19 years old when she had a baby in a hospital in New Mexico. Now, the baby boy was found dead in a bathroom trash can. And we want to show you the video that her defense attorney doesn't want the jury to see. In it, Trevizo is seen and heard talking to police on body camera footage, and this is after the baby was found in the trash can in the bathroom. Now, her attorney says that this video violates HIPAA laws.
She put the baby in the trash can, and then
Oh,
she
boy.
put another clean liner
Yeah,
over the
before-
top.
All right. So yeah, if you didn't see that, strategic, what do
I
you
saw
think
that
about
before.
that?
It just, I've seen it before. It just shocks me every time. It's like for most people that, they probably ate something. For her, she's literally holding a baby in.
She's literally holding the baby in and still in denial. Erica B. Yeah, Erica B. She was in the hospital. She could have just literally gave birth and been like, "Hey, I'm caught. I'm in trouble. I don't want this baby." But hey, it came out of her. It came out of her, and then she locked herself in, got blood all over the walls, and dropped it in the trash can. So yeah, trigger warning. Definitely, this is one of those cases. However, I just don't know about this. This is crazy how she's trying to sue them. It's a wild ride. She did this, but she's going to sue them. And I think a few things were handled incorrectly on their end. I mean, I wouldn't want police in my room when that just happened, with the body cam. I think that could violate HIPAA laws, but we'll talk about that. I know you have an opinion about that. Definitely. And, well, the law. So let's play a little bit more of this for those that don't know. And this is new. This just came out a few days ago, last week, as ALEXEE TRAVIZO heads to trial. These are the things that's happening. So the prosecutors are going to appeal this, and I'll show you a clip of that after.
So when they looked in there, there was no trash in there, but it's underneath the clean bag. The baby's dead. Okay, we have him in trauma too, but she killed the kid.
Yeah, how old was the baby?
I don't know. It's full term.
So the judge sided with the defense team on this to not show it to the jury, but the prosecution is appealing. So we're wondering, how should the appellate court rule on this? Should they reverse the?
All right. Yeah. She didn't just drop the baby in the trash, and we're going to get to there's a story to this that we're telling right now. We're talking about her heading trial. She dropped the baby in the trash. She wrapped the baby up in an empty trash bag and prevented the baby from breathing. So we are going to go over that, Flyer B. We actually have the autopsy report. Is that correct? Is that what it's called that I have?
Yes.
Let's see. I have the final pathologic. It says final pathologic diagnosis. So we have the pathology report. So we are going to get into the gruesome details of it, trigger warning of what she did. And in my opinion, I feel like I feel like it's a bit light for what she did. I mean, she knowingly asphyxiated the baby, whether it was a breathing or not. I don't know, but what do you think?
I mean, when we say knowingly, mind you, listen.
We don't know. Yeah, we don't.
I am not a supporter of a baby killer. Okay, believe me.
Yeah,
all right,
of course.
But we do want fairness in our system, and we want everybody to get a fair shake.
You're right.
Knowingly is us assuming her mens rea, her thought process, right?
Right.
What she was thinking at the time, and if she's panicked and she's trying to hide this child, you have to now know in her heart that by putting the baby in a garbage bag, she wanted the baby to die.
She was also on drugs. She was heavily medicated.
She had morphine, etc., inside of her system. Also, we have to add in the fact that not every baby cries immediately after birth. I've watched, and you have your own children as well. You experience. I was a spectator. All right.
Thank you,
and
Jojo.
Each one of those kids needed assistance Yeah, all my kids were very stubborn. They needed assistance, and one of them needed a royal beatdown. Where I was like, "Does this is this doctor taking out their bad day on my kid?" But no, they were doing their job, and they made sure that baby started crying. So
Now,
it could have been a situation like that where the baby's not not responding, but it's perfectly fine.
Right.
It just hasn't made its breath yet, and she put that.
And
baby
I
in
get that.
bag,
Now,
So
there's many sides of this. A key is saying, why would she do that? She was grown in a hospital, which is kind of my thinking, but we're not police officers of any sort. So I do want to ask you, because JoJo, one of my mods that's heavily into this case, is Mr. Strategic. The doctor wanted the law enforcement present when she was confronted. I don't know what that means, but what would be the proper procedure for medical staff and law enforcement in this case? What would you think, in your opinion?
So everything with medical is protected by HIPAA. You cannot talk to law enforcement about the medical state of a patient unless you have a consent form or a subpoena, right? You subpoena somebody, the courts force them to comply, right? So the doctor wasn't supposed to talk to the cops about her. The doctor could talk about the child, but the doctor can't talk about her. My issue is not even so much anything, but my issue is not so much the conversation that happened outside, because you could kind of get around that by saying it was an exigent circumstance. I mean, everybody's shocked. They're human beings at the end of the day, and you don't necessarily get this training in any of, that specifically if somebody has a baby in a bathroom, you can't tell. So my issue is not even necessarily that conversation outside that you showed. My issue is the extended conversation that happens inside of the hospital room with police, nurse, doctor, body-worn camera. That to me is when it really crosses over the line. Not even so much the conversation that happened outside the room with the doctor and the cop. I think if I was the judge, which I'm not a trained attorney, spend 20 years as an attorney and then another 50 years as a judge. I'm assuming. I don't know how much time that judge has. But I would let that go, knowing what I know, what I've experienced in law enforcement. The issue for me is what happens inside of the medical room, inside of the room with the girl and the doctor and the cop.
And we're going to get into that. This is the whole reason why the judge is trying to throw this out. And we're going to watch that video.
The judge has already thrown it out.
He has thrown out, but I say try because after this video, the DA is appealing this immediately.
Appeal, but there's a hard line there.
Yeah,
this
you're right.
Has been done. Somebody just wants somebody else to look at it.
You're absolutely right, and I think it's going to lose. I think they're going to lose 110% because you're right. And if this were me and it wasn't, let's say it's not a baby situation, but something else, right? You cannot be in the room with body cam, and then they blasted it all over social media and the news at that. So they did violate many things, and I wish they would have did it different. Yeah.
And let me add just one more thing before you move forward.
You're right.
In my department, you cannot turn on your body camera in the hospital. Now I don't know what that's a policy thing. That's not a law that I know
guys,
of. But
that's why we have him.
Right. So I don't know what their policy is. But you can't have a body-worn camera in a hospital. You can't even turn on a body-worn camera with a sex assault victim.
From a police officer, folks.
So once you come on the scene and your body camera is on, of course, but you start interviewing that person and you're like, well, why am I here? What's going on? They say, I was a victim of sexual abuse. Hold on 1 second, ma'am. Let me turn off my body-worn camera. And then you continue that interview after you turn off your body-worn camera. That's how strict these things in, because sexual assault usually deals with medical and HIPAA. So you don't even want to capture that sexual assault allegation on body-worn camera. You want to take that off camera. And there's no recording in any hospital. You bring in a guy to a hospital, he's acting crazy. As soon as you hit that hospital door, you turn it off.
Right. Okay. So you guys are hearing the rules, and you're going to hear the ruling on this, which the reason I want to do this is because it's controversial. All of you that are mothers and myself, we have that passion, and so does Strategic, but he knows what the laws are. All right, let's watch this a little bit.
Let's bring in our power panel now. Still with me, former special agent with the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, Trevor Wren.
Now, these people are going to say the same thing here, right?
So, criminal defense attorney and former prosecutor Michael J. Brown, and trial attorney and law professor Dante Mills. Great to see you all. Dante, would you start off our conversation for us, please? Your thoughts on who's right here?
I think the court got it right. Good morning, everybody.
There you go.
In these types of cases, there's just constitutional protection.
And if you don't know what we're talking about, the court got it right. They threw that body cam footage that we all saw of the girl that threw her baby in the trash. That's what they called it. They didn't talk about her asphyxiating or anything. We will talk about. This is what got thrown out. And Strategic is probably 100% right that they're not going to overturn it, but they're going to try.
Protections that everyone has. And during the course of investigation, no matter what that investigation is, you have to do things the right way. So what the prosecution is arguing here is kind of they're trying to have their cake and eat it too. So there's two protections that should have been here. One is a HIPAA protection that violates your health privacy. And the other is the protection against being interrogated against your will without being given your rights. The prosecution is saying that they kind of canceled each other out, that the doctor was in the room. So the interrogation wasn't just the police, and the police was in the room. So her comments to the doctor are not protected by HIPAA and the health privacy violation. So I don't think you should be allowed to do that. The judge said that.
Again, he's nailing just what you're saying, Strategic.
Right. And I'll go a step further, right? During this conversation, there's a point where the doctor says, you know what, enough of this. You just gave birth. We need to get you up to surgery so that they can, stop the bleeding, because she's still bleeding. The other aspect is you don't interrogate people when they're drugged up, because they cannot when you read the Miranda, they cannot make a proper choice because they're not of sound mind. So most of the time when you're about to read somebody Miranda, you ask them, hey, listen, have you taken any drugs today, any alcohol or anything like that might impede your ability to make a sound decision today? They also ask you that when you're on the stand. They ask you that when you're taking plea deals. She's in the hospital. Before the hospital knew that she was pregnant, she was there complaining about pain. So they jacked her up on morphine and other drugs. Then she gave birth.
She was a patient. Someone was saying you have to be a patient. She was a patient. Right. Yeah. And I'm not for her. If it was my world, I'd say throw her in jail. She should be in there now. But it's not my world, and we have to follow the laws. So there's a lot of heated moms in here that are like,
Listen, we want her to do time. We just want her to get a fair trial so she could do time, so we could rest easy saying justice was served the right way. Now they have a wealth of evidence. They don't need her confession. They don't. They absolutely 10 ways to Sunday, and we're still rocking and rolling with a good case.
And they are going to throw it out. Let's listen to this some more, because it's already thrown out, but I don't think the appeal is going to stick at all. Listen to what Strategic is saying and these guys.
Those things crossed over, but they don't cancel each other out. I think that's the right decision. And I think the appellate court should uphold that ruling and say, if you're going to interrogate, you have to make sure you follow those rules. Isolate the person, give them their rights. And if they decide to speak with other people around, that's one thing, but you can't cloud the situation and try and use that for your benefit.
Appreciate it, Dante. And let's take it a step further. I really appreciate what you said about if the police didn't get it right. Trebor, this is where I want to go to you, please. What could they have done better in your view here?
Well, I would have to agree with them. The rules still apply. If you're going to do questioning of an individual regarding a crime, you definitely need to take that into consideration. What does the environment look like? Is that individual free to leave? Who's present during the questioning? Typically, our test as law enforcement is going to be, was it custodial? Custodial questioning, that's usually the 2-tier, but there's still an issue that we take up. Is the person going to be free to leave after they tell me what it is they're...
All right, go ahead.
What we say in the business is custody or custodial and interview or interrogation equals Miranda. So if you're going to have those two things, a person's not free to go and you're going to ask them accusatory questions, you have to read them Miranda. So I just piggybacking off what she says, that's the way that we teach it in my department.
Right. And this is why I brought you on, because I was looking on your channel and I was like, man, he's just nailing it. And it doesn't mean I like what anybody's saying, right? It doesn't mean I'm happy with it. And the justice system I'm not completely happy with anyway. It's old and it's outdated, and sometimes it doesn't work. But I hope she gets a fair trial so that she can do her time and think about what she did as an adult. She is an adult. So you're right with what you're saying. I mean, that's why I brought you on, because I was like, man, he's just nailing it. It's not what I want to hear, but it's the law. So thank you. All right, we'll play a little bit and then we'll stop. And then I'm going to show the video where they didn't even have her name out yet. And it was just the girl that threw her baby in the trash, right? Which is another violation. I would be very upset if that happened to me, with me at the hospital, and I look at the news and I'm all over it. Didn't even get my rights. Did she even? Well, we'll find out. We'll find out. I don't even think they read her rights in that room.
I don't think so
which
either.
We're gonna watch. I didn't
see the extended one. Do you have the extended video?
I have the video from the beginning where they.
Okay.
Yeah, I have everything.
Right, because I didn't see the extended video, and I never saw her rights being read. Never.
Yeah, me either. I have hours of it, but I'm gonna pull up the original one where you could hear them talking and her telling her mom she didn't have sex or whatever. So let's listen to these guys some more, and you'll know why it got thrown out.
About to tell me. So you have to be thinking about all of that at the onset of that initial contact, that initial question and answer segment.
Well, they're charging second-degree murder, I believe, Savage Barbie. That's what they're calling it. It's a second degree, and I think it's because of the circumstance. She didn't do it on purpose, in my opinion, is what they're saying. So, but it is a murder, and she is being charged, but she's also suing them. She's suing them for money civilly. All right.
Appreciate it, Trebor. And last but certainly not least, Michael J. Brown, let me go to you here in what, if anything, these prosecutors can potentially do here, because part of what they want to establish is they want to try to show the jury that she knew that she was pregnant, that she knew prior to this and wasn't telling her family or anyone, and knew what occurred when she was in the hospital bathroom. How do you think they may go about that if the court does what Dante expects the court to do, upholding that trial court ruling?
Yep.
It's going to be difficult, Julia. I think what they're going to have to be able to establish is on prior occasions, maybe she bought certain things from a pharmacy, or she went to doctor visits, and there was some indication that she was pregnant. But going back to the issue, I think the professor hit it on the head. You know, public policy mandates and requires and expects that you're honest and forthright with your treating doctor, regardless of who is in the room. That's why it's protected. And the analogy I would give is when you go up to the triage nurse, even though there may be a gentleman standing next to you who's unrelated to the case, you're still protected because the law wants you to be able to be honest and forthright so that the doctor or the treating medical personnel can treat you appropriately. So I think the government's argument is going to fail. And I do think.
Right. And I'll let you step in for a second. I know you have something to say.
Oh, no, I just wanted to say the second-degree murder in New Mexico is punishable up to 15 years in prison, and they have no minimal sentence. So technically, the judge could say, you know, you do a year in prison, and if she's convicted of second-degree murder or any number in between. And the specific why they specifically charge her with that sentence is because there's a clause in it that you don't have to specifically have an intent to kill. Like they don't have to establish why you wanted to kill or know why, or maybe they can prove that you didn't really want to kill. You know, to me, it's kind of like, because remember, these different states, sometimes they use the same words, but the punishment or the actual crime is slightly different. So that New Mexico second-degree murder kind of mirrors more of a manslaughter in other states.
And I was going to say that it's like a manslaughter. It's equivalent. She's not going to get that much time. She's out on bond or bail, whatever they call it in that state. There's a lot to this case, everybody. Yeah, blah, 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 says there was intent. The Carlos says throw her mother in jail too. She knew and played. Well, let's just throw everybody in jail. But her mom.
Listen, I think it's Jen Soto. Jen Soto messed everybody up. Now, after we've seen the worst mom on the planet, Jen Soto, we want to send every mother to jail. Send them all to jail.
Hold everybody accountable for everything.
Robber, Your son's a bank robber, send you to jail. Your son jaywalk, send you to jail. It's over.
It's over. Everybody goes to jail. We put trackers on our kids now and cameras. Melly says her mom said in the hospital, we talked about this. She did say that we're going to list that. We talked about this. You know what they do to girls who do this or something similar. Boy. She did. And she did know. She did say that. In my opinion, her mom is one of those moms that's all about looks, all about what everything looks like from the outside. And we don't talk about it. Those kind of parents, right? Now you can't send them to jail for that, but I believe she was scared to tell her mom. She knew she was pregnant. In my opinion, she was scared to tell her mom. And I've seen this happen so many times, folks. There's so many cases like this. There's one, I don't know if it's in the notes, Petty Mason, but there's a girl that gave birth in her bathroom in the middle of the night, and then she tried to burn it, and she buried it in her backyard. She didn't do very much time. There's probably 10 cases I can cite just like this. So
I think because they usually attach some measure of mental health to it. You know, it's like, oh, you're a teenager, you're under a lot of pressure, you know, kids. And people say, oh, she's not a kid. She's 19. At the time, was she 18 or 19 at the time when it happened?
She was 19.
She was 19, but she's still in high school. She's socializing with high schoolers. There's no guarantee that her mind was somehow, you know, the mind of a 25 or 30-year-old. She's still a kid, technically. She's associating with kids. She's dating kids. She's hanging with kids. She's going to school with kids. You know, I hate to say this, you know, because I don't support her, but we got to,
and that's okay.
Reality.
That's why I brought you on, because I did listen to your video and I said, oh, he's got the complete, mine's more on emotion. And then I saw what they're doing. So, and yours is you're going by the law. So I want to tell you the lawsuit real quick, folks. And now I just realized she's charged with first-degree murder and tampering with evidence. So, I didn't realize that. I thought it was second degree. So
they're saying it's premeditated then.
Yeah. She's filing a wrongful death suit against the hospital where her child was found in the trash. She's charged with first-degree tampering with evidence in the death of her newborn son. She named that kid Alex after herself. She named it. So tell me she didn't know she was pregnant. Her attorney emphasized the hospital's failure to respond promptly to the positive pregnancy test, which likely played a role in the outcome. She also was taking weight loss pills it didn't work because we saw how big of a belly she had. So she was taking prescription weight loss pills. Her mom probably said, you're getting too fat and you don't look, you're getting overweight. Her mom looked like one of those moms, which we'll see in a bit. So she is getting charged with first degree and tampering with evidence.
Yeah, they're trying to give her life in prison. Just want to make a comment real quick before we move forward on a commenter on my channel, I believe, is One Love. She said, lies. I was pregnant at 17, had my baby at 18. I called BS and I had no parents, but I protected my baby. She's old enough to know right from wrong, period. I hear you. We don't want her to get off. We're not here. I'm personally not here supporting this woman, but we have to get out of the mindset where we judge other people's actions based on the choices that we've made. You are a strong, resilient person, so you made certain choices. God bless you, but you can't go through life thinking that just because you overcame certain adversities that everybody else has to overcome it in the same way. It's just not the way it works. It's just not the way human nature is. I just want to make that quick point.
Right. That's why I brought you on today. Yeah, because mine was completely like, and then I said, okay, well, let's see where the law lies in this. And this is in New Mexico, Stella. So every state is different. My mom says if she could have sex and get pregnant, she should own it and at the very least give it up for adoption. Absolutely, Mom. Absolutely. She should have just, even if she gave birth at the last second in the bathroom, she should have just been like, yo, I just had a baby and, I don't want it.
Nobody would have asked any questions. Like the way we've set it up in America, all 50 states, conservative states, liberal states, it doesn't matter. It's the same thing. When you just give birth, they will take that baby and you will not have to ever worry about it again. Done. Baby's up for adoption. Nobody's shaming you. No, nothing. So she definitely had that option.
Yeah, and I wonder how they could not know she was pregnant when she's wearing the cheerleading outfit. I'm really surprised her cheerleading folks weren't like, yo, but that's why I think she was taking those pills. And her mom probably took her to get those pills. They were prescribed. So, yes,
But wouldn't that
exactly.
help her
Their
case though?
option.
Like if you're taking weight loss pills, but you know you're pregnant, wouldn't that kind of help your case to say that you didn't know you were pregnant? I don't know.
It might. It might.
I don't
Right.
know.
Well, I think they might be even just going by the not knowing, but knowing at the time she gave birth. They don't
Uh-huh.
have to prove that she knew before, but when there's a
Right.
head coming out of your vagina, you
Perfect.
know.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and it does jive with the first degree murder because remember, premeditated doesn't have to be a week before. You could premeditate
Nope.
right at that moment.
Right
So
then
it
and
could be
there.
the moment that baby came out, you decide to hide him under a second trash bag. That's premeditated right there. You know, you're basically planning to try and conceal that birth and walk away. And obviously that baby's going to die one way or another.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, I mean, thanks, Jess, for citing the case. Melissa Drexler had a baby in the bathroom at prom and then went back to the dance floor. So mental problems, mental issues, and whatever's going on with, when you're having a baby and the birth. I mean, we know a lot of people get postpartum, a lot of women nowadays, especially. So there's a lot of things going on in this case. Let's listen a little more and then we'll watch that first video where the mom's telling her, you know what happens to girls that do that. Her mom should have educated her much better. I blame ALEXEE, but her mom taught her some messed up things, man.
This is a HIPAA protected situation.
Michael, appreciate that. Now let's take things a step further and look at the civil case together. So she's got the criminal case, but then also ALEXEE TRAVIZO is suing the hospital. And what she's maintaining is that the drugs that she was given are what killed the baby. She's saying that she didn't know she was pregnant.
Yeah.
We found a TikTok video of her cheerleading.
Of course you did.
And take a look in the video. She appears to be pregnant in the video. This video is drawing a lot of speculation, a lot of comments, a lot of people watching her case closely are saying, how could she not know? But her lawyer is saying she didn't know, and it's the hospital staff's fault
Look at that,
for
man.
killing the baby by giving her medications like morphine. And the lawyer is saying that there's civil liability the hospital has here because they didn't pregnancy test her before administering the medications. There she is in the middle of the screen there.
Well, they probably would have pregnancy tested her if she would have said, like, hey, I put an abnormal amount of weight on. And what do you think about that?
Yeah, but all right. When you go to a hospital, and you don't have to be law enforcement to know this, they triage you. They do a physical examination of you. Sometimes it's extensive. Sometimes a doctor just looks at you up and down. You see a woman come in claiming she has lower back pain. You take a look at her. We know, a guy knows. You look at a woman, you know when she's overweight or when she's pregnant. You know, like you really. How often do guys make that mistake? And I'm just using guys as an example where we're like, oh, we know. Oh yeah, congratulations. We, as human beings, women, men, it doesn't matter. We know that baby bump is so low on the body. You know, so she walks in, she's complaining about lower back pain. You're planning on giving her narcotics, Schedule 1 narcotics, to help her out with this phantom back pain, right? The first thing you're gonna do is do a physical examination. You're gonna touch her stomach. What is this here? You said you have abnormal weight gain. Don't you want to touch that stomach to see if there's some kind of tumor in there? And if you touch that stomach, what's gonna happen? That stomach gonna touch you back. You're gonna see some hands reaching through her belly. I mean,
she was very
This girl needs to go to prison, but mistakes
agreed.
were made here. Mistakes
and I think ultimately
made here.
She ultimately will probably go to prison with what they're charging her. Just right now, they're playing that game of how long they can keep her out and if they can get money, which I'm sure it's her mom. Her mom's paying the lawyers. They're doing this civil suit. Maggie Duke says, I cannot comment anymore. I'm retired. I'm a retired pediatric nurse. Believe me, she knew what she was doing. I've seen it often. And I'm not any of those, and I've seen it. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say that I would love for Maggie to follow up by just me asking her, hey Maggie, do you guys do a physical examination when you see somebody? Like, wouldn't that be something that you'd be interested in doing before you give them Schedule 1 narcotics? I don't know. She's the expert. So
I'm going to be interested to see this lawsuit as it unfolds and see what is real, because you can put a lawsuit against anybody for anything, but when you get to court and you lay it out, it's going to be interesting. So Let's see. Look at her face here.
All right, so
Face.
what liability, if any, civilly does the hospital have? Back to our power panel. Michael J. Brown, would you start us off this time with your thoughts on the civil case, please?
Julie, I think what also has come out, in addition to what you just said, is that the hospital determined fairly quickly that she was pregnant and continued to administer the morphine and the additional drugs. So while when she comes in and they're doing the morphine and they're treating her alleged back condition may be perfectly fine.
Look at that belly.
Standards, the minute they become aware that she is in fact pregnant from their testing, and they
all right, folks, that's ridiculous right there. Like, I mean, that's a good picture. You see that right there?
Yes, baby.
She is pregnant there. Damn. And thank you, Petty Mason. Petty Mason says, thank you, Strategic, for being the balance and giving us the information of the law. We appreciate you.
Appreciate it. Okay,
Yeah.
Well, I want to read one comment from Cairo on my stream.
Yeah,
and she makes a good point that I forgot. And this is policy in like all 50 states. All right. Okay. Before you give a narcotic, you have to give a drug test, because we have an opioid epidemic in America, and people go in there all the time saying, oh, I got pain, I got phantom pain, just so they could get a fix on drugs. So it's that extensive. It is that extensive that you would give a drug test to make sure they're not a drug addict. You give a physical examination, you kind of figure out what's going on. For all we know, you feel her lower back and you might feel a tumor there, and she might need immediate surgery to go remove something that's putting pressure on her spine. You don't just say, lay down on the bed and let's pump you up with drugs, which is what it seems like happening, unless we're able to see her medical record. And we can't see her medical record. Why? Because of HIPAA.
Right, exactly. Everybody wanted to see the Jen Soto one. When we knew that she was, what hospital she went to check herself in and so forth, everyone's like, oh, you should get the records. Like, I can't get the records. It's HIPAA. You can't. I could tell you from what the roommate said and how many times she checked herself in, but you can't. Yeah, it's HIPAA. Otherwise, we would have Jen Soto's record blasted everywhere. Trust me. All right,
and I'll be reading every minute of it. I ain't gonna lie.
Me too, man. All of us, Strategic, all of us. This is the case of the century, and it's what's going to get us to 100,000 freaking subscribers because of this case. All right, but we're doing it out of passion. I do it out of passion, and I see your passion, so that's why.
Absolutely.
I was like, I gotta have him on here.
They continue to administer these pretty significant drugs that.
By the way, folks, I'm gonna play the original one after the very beginning when we knew nothing, so you guys can refresh yourselves.
Hey, look, if you have an expert that comes in and says that contributed to the death of the baby, then yeah, I think these trained experts are certainly on the hook for not cutting it off once they became aware that she was in fact pregnant.
Great point, Michael. Trebor, to you next, please. Your thoughts on that video evidence.
And by the way, Strategic, she refused. This is many people say she refused for them to manually examine her. So it's going to be interesting in court when she goes and says that, and then she refused. It's got to be in the records, right?
But they can also refuse service, and I've seen that happen many times, especially when people they suspect people to be there because they just want drugs and stuff like that. They can say, hey, listen, we want to help you, but if you don't want us to touch you, we can't move any further. There's no, how should I say, guarantee for service. There's no right to service. You coming to us, you got to follow our rules and regulations. Right.
Just like Kaiser, just stick to pot, people. Censor versus just stick to pot, people. All right. In this case, I don't think pot would fix any of this, but
evidence and whether you think the hospital bears any responsibility here.
I think, as we know, the civil situation is always different from a criminal trial. I think that the hospital certainly is going to bear some responsibility based on the timing that they knew they had gotten the results that she was pregnant and what their actions were after that. They didn't approach her with it. I believe the nurse wanted to wait on the doctor, for example. They continued to administer the morphine, allowed her to go to the restroom after she mentioned needing to use the bathroom, which most, moms know that that's oftentimes a signal that the baby is about to come out. So I think that there's going to be a lot of question there as to what they knew, when they knew it, and what they could have done, but mostly a question for the medical examiner as it relates to the amount of morphine that would be in the baby's blood, and would that be a lethal amount, and whether or not it was a fetal demise versus a healthy delivery, which we may or may not ever know.
Good points,
Right.
Trevor. When you said medical examiner, my ears perked right up. I'm thinking, yeah, can't the forensic pathologist, who examined the baby, give us some answers here? Dante Mills, take us home, if you would, please. Your thoughts on the civil case and whether the hospital is in trouble.
All right, we'll do that, and then we'll go to the other one. Do you have anything at this break to say?
No, because we know we did get the answers that they were saying they were looking for. So we'll see that when we go over the autopsy.
Yeah, we're going to do that after we look at the original video. That's a big key to this. And, it's a big key to this. All right.
I think it's very interesting that what we'll be using a civil case kind of strengthens the criminal case. So if the hospital was trying to show, or the prosecutors are trying to show that she should have known she was pregnant, that there were clear signs that her baby bump was there, all of those things would then translate to the medical professionals who should have recognized that as well. And even if she came in and told them she was only experiencing back pain, if they're going to give her morphine, there has to be some other questions and evaluations that are done. And if it was so obvious that she was pregnant, they should have recognized it. Now, there's some other evidence, though, that suggests that she knew she was pregnant. Some of her friends said that she talked about it, that she, in fact, even named the baby, said she was going to name him Alex. So there's questions here about how long the mother knew, but the facility should have known and picked it up during the process, at least, of treating her with morphine. It is clear the medical examiner said that the baby was born with air in the lungs, which indicate that it wasn't a stillbirth. But was it morphine that does have the impact of causing difficulty in breathing for a newborn? And that's ultimately why the baby died? Or was it strangulation, which is what the prosecutors are saying?
Now, a lot of people in chat are going to say that they were given morphine and things like that for childbirth. So in my opinion, I don't think that it was that, but we don't know because we weren't in the bathroom.
Well, we do know from the autopsy that morphine had nothing to do with this child's death. This child died.
We're going to get into that. That's
asphyxiation.
awesome.
That is it.
Okay, well, then stick it to first degree murder, man. You guys are going to be mad when we get to that portion of it. Oh boy. All right. And I think they are doing a civil suit also to try to balance that out. When he said that, they said that, I was like, oh yeah, sometimes people do civil suits so that it helps their case criminally. That's what they're trying to do here. I don't think they're really trying to get money. I think the mom is trying to just hit all angles of keeping her daughter out of prison for, life. All right, we're almost done with this, and then we'll get to the video and then the autopsy.
Happened here in this case.
All great points to think about. We've got to leave it there. Dante Mills, Trevor Randall, Michael J. Brown, thank you for the great discussion on this one. We're watching her case closely. We'll see if the appellate court.
All right, let's stop that one. Let's watch the first video where her mom was talking to her. Shouldn't be too long, and then we'll get to the autopsy. Deflecting the guilt, the civil suit, right? And they're trying to help. That sometimes that helps when you get that information in there. It will help her criminal case. So I think she's trying to do everything she can.
The mother is so annoying. She is so annoying. Oh.
Yeah, and this is what we're gonna see. She's annoying, and I feel like she had her daughter. She had her so scared to that point that she didn't even tell her she needed to look a certain way. Ugh. It starts with parents, folks. It starts with the parents. There's no excuse for any of this. I love everyone jumping back and forth. That's love right there. Everyone's jumping back and forth to your page and mine. So thanks for the love for Strategic.
Absolutely.
And Shailene, thank you for the $4.99 super sticker. I appreciate that. And all of you, the chat is lit up in green. That means you guys are all crime crewers. And while we're playing this, I'll give out some, as long as my video or my YouTube allows, I'll give you guys 5 guilty of crime memberships. All right, let's play this. Listen to this annoying mom.
Lexi, I told you about this.
You are detained. You are not free to leave at this point. Do you understand that?
There you go, folks.
It's full term.
What?
So we started working her up. We did a pregnancy test on her, showed positive. She was denying that she had sex. And she said she had to go to the bathroom. She went to the bathroom. She was in there for quite a while. We kept knocking on the door. Finally, we got her to open the door, and there was blood everywhere. She was cleaning it up. Okay. So we took her back to the room. And I was afraid that she knew she was pregnant. She had done something to herself. So the doctor started doing an exam on her. We had the lady come to clean the bathroom. She put the baby in the trash can, and then she put another clean liner over the top of it.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So when they looked in there, there was no trash in there, but it was underneath the clean bag. The baby's dead. Okay, we have him in trauma too, but she killed the kid.
Yeah. How old was the baby?
I don't know. It's full term. She just
Tell
had
it
it
like
she had
it
it in the
is.
bathroom was what happened. And then whatever she did, I don't know. She's gonna lie. She wouldn't tell us she's pregnant. She's been lying the whole time.
Okay.
So that's what's going on. I just pulled the doctor out of the room, so nothing's been said to the patient or the mother that's in there yet.
All right, I'll pause it right there because I know you have something to say. Adam, thank you for the $4.99 super chat. Appreciate the passion and hustle from you both. Hashtag I'm not a cat. Oh, that video is funny. All right. What do you got? Strategic, what do you think about that?
I mean, I think, first of all, who is talking right now? I just want clarification who's talking. Do we know?
I believe. Yeah, I do.
It doesn't sound like the doctor. It sounds like another officer because he's saying I pulled the doctor out the room.
It's the body cam from another officer. There's hours of this stuff.
So this is a perfectly fine conversation because this is a conversation happening between law enforcement. He's basically giving them the rundown of what's going on. The issue is when we get inside of the OR, whatever you want to call it. I don't know, not OR. That's the operating room. Inside the examination room. That's where the issue.
The beginning part, right?
Right, where mommy is at, and then we had a medical staff member there. That's the problem.
All right, let's do this one more time for people. It's quick, but here's the problem. And this came out immediately after it happened. I remember when this was breaking news. It came out faster than they didn't even arrest her. They let her go home, I think, or they might have, and she got on bail because they went to her house and arrested her. I have the body cam.
Right.
Anyway,
I saw that one too, and the mother is so. Oh, I saw that.
Yeah, I downloaded that one too, but yeah, I have hours of this stuff. I'm gonna play it one more time. I gifted 5 memberships. I hope whoever got a membership was somebody that actually wants it. There's a lot of people that can't afford it. I hope somebody that wanted it got it. All right.
Lexi, I told you about this.
She said it came out of me and I didn't know what to do. And then her mom says, I told you about this. So what does that mean? I told you about this. What do you people in chat? What does that mean? I told you about this. Was she telling her don't have sex with your boyfriend? This could happen. I wonder what she told her.
Could it be premeditated that she told her I'm going to get rid of this baby? And she said, don't do that. Absolutely not. That's possible. I mean, I don't know.
It's just interesting, and the cops have this on. So this is the footage they want thrown out, folks, or they already got thrown out. What am I saying? Yeah, this is the part. Melly says. All right. Yeah.
Are detained. You are not free to leave at this point. Do you understand that?
How big is the baby?
All right, so pause it. That makes it worse. That makes it worse. If he says you are detained, you're not free to leave. I expect to hear Miranda next.
Yeah,
that
he
makes
didn't do that.
I mean, if you have the full one, it'd be nice to see that because that makes it worse on the part of the prosecution to keep this statement. And this is probably why, listen, believe it or not, judges, they do sometimes give more deference to prosecutions, because in most instances, they know that this person is guilty, just by looking at the evidence. If the judge is saying, I'm throwing this statement out, that means that they reviewed all evidence related to this statement and they truly believe that this is inadmissible. By him saying you are detained, you cannot leave, Miranda must remember, now we have custody. We have custody. Now, if we're asking about a dead baby, that's interrogation. That's accusatory questions. That equals Miranda. So that statement he said gave us custody. Any questions related to that baby gives us interrogation, and that equals Miranda. And you don't do it in that order. You have those two elements, and you give Miranda before you get the totality of those two elements. So if you know she's in custody in your head as law enforcement, even before you tell her, you know that you got to read her Miranda before you ask her those questions because you know you're doing a criminal investigation now, and she's not free to go.
Now, I do have some body cam footage here that says, and it shows it in there. It's in the room from a different cop's version of the birth 2 that I can show you. I'm downloading it right now. So let me play this for a second and then I'll pull that up so we can see, because they have all this just cut from one thing to the next. but I wonder if they did read her Miranda rights. That's interesting because in all the videos that I've seen, they didn't do that. They didn't do that. They went out and investigated. Listen, they're talking about it behind the scenes, but they never.
Or not for you to leave at this point. Do you understand that?
How big is the baby?
It's full term.
What?
All right, let's just for a second.
So we started working her up. We did a pregnancy test on her, showed positive. She was a 9 that she had sex. Then she said she had to go to the bathroom. She went to the bathroom. She was in there for quite a while. We kept knocking on the door. Finally, we got her to open the door, and there was blood everywhere. She was cleaning it up. Okay. So we took her back to the room, and I was afraid that she knew she was pregnant. She had done something to herself. All
right, so they're talking to each other. Here's the one in the room I want you to see. I'll pull this one down, and then we can go over the autopsy. This is like right when they walk in the room, and the cop follows the nurse right behind. All right. Unedited body cam after giving birth. All right, they're gonna walk in the room.
Yep, you are. Yep, we just pulled up here. All right, bro. Thanks. Bye.
And the mother does look a little psycho. You could tell she's definitely running the show, and it's interesting that this whole case. Let's just watch this for a second. It's interesting what extent. I'd like to know what extent the mom, if she knew, or if they were just all in denial, or what. All right.
You know, the baby's gonna have to take him for autopsy. There'll be an investigator. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. But we need to do this correctly. And I want to be transparent with you about what I should do. Officer, do you guys need to talk to her before we get transferred?
Okay. Now the officer.
Before you have to transfer out?
We gotta make calls.
Okay. So,
All right. So this is when the officer's going to step into the room. They're talking amongst themselves. Look at the room's all doctors right now.
Yeah, so, it's bad for the prosecution. Well, let's keep going. Yeah.
Yeah, but you see what happened here. They were all talking, and the guy was kind of standing outside of the room recording. Just you can hear it, and then now here's where they step in.
Okay, 20, 30 minutes.
Yeah, hopefully, yes.
I got detectives on the way, so they're gonna be talking to her.
Okay.
So,
you guys have, I'm the charge nurse. You guys have any questions for me?
All right, this is where they start, and when I first saw this video, folks, I thought she was like 16 years old. She looks really like small and scared. You know, she just
looks like another officer is in there. Is that like a hospital police guy, or is that the Leo's? Because his body camera's not on.
No, it doesn't. It looks like the same. Like as there's two guys, they look like they're or maybe security with the beanie. The guy with the beanie.
Yeah. Maybe security.
Yeah, it may be security because remember she was going down the hallway and then they came back before the police even got there. All right, let's watch this. This is as they step in the room. That guy looks like security. All right.
How big is the baby?
It's full term.
What? 9 months? Nothing was crying.
What? He's a nurse.
Have you watched the news of the girls that what they do to their babies and what they go to jail? I was crying.
Did she say it was crying?
She said nothing was crying.
Oh, nothing was crying. See.
Any other questions?
Yeah. So
I'll pause it.
So
Hold on.
as of right now, like.
Okay, so this is what you get. Yeah.
Right. So listen, it's not unethical for the officer to be there. The issue is, are the statements admissible? So the officer comes in and the nurse says, do you guys have any questions for me? So he's not even, at this point, he's not even asking her any accusatory questions. He's asking her as a medical professional if you have any questions for him. The mother asks, how big was the baby or whatever. He said, full term. He's giving medical answers for her medical question. And then she responds, nothing was crying. This is definitely protected under HIPAA. This is definitely protected. Even forget about custody and interrogation equals Miranda. remember, we have two dual things that are going on that at the same time. We have, was she read her rights? Miranda, are the statements admissible under Miranda? And we also have, was she protected under HIPAA? And even the judge considered that. So even at this point, she is protected from HIPAA. These are inadmissible statements because she's not even worried about the officer that's in there. Her focus is my nurse and my mom and my situation.
Right. Yeah, no, they haven't, they still haven't read her rights. You have the right to remain silent. She's just talking like freely.
Right.
So, well, that's why it's getting thrown out. Yeah, she calls the baby nothing. Yeah, she does. She disassociates, which is weird, but also at the same time, she named the baby Alex, which is a little narcissistic as well. I think her mom has a lot to do with this, folks. She definitely is suing civilly. Her mom's paying for that. They have to pay for a lawyer. So yeah, someone said, in my opinion, her mom's doing that. She is doing that. She's paying for the lawyer and she's directing her. All right. Let's see if they do say anything, and then we'll go over the pathology report of the baby.
Well, what I said is we're going to have the detectives come over here and they're going to talk to you. Okay, we have to gather some more information about what's going on. They'll get your statement. They're going to get the doctor's statements. They're going to get everybody's statements. Okay, so I don't know everything yet. Okay, so I'm not going to tell you. I can't tell you nothing, honestly. Okay, all I can say is
couldn't go to jail.
Right now right now she's being detained. So she's not going to leave from here at all, period.
Custody.
Okay.
Boom.
So one of us will be
in your custody?
Yeah. See, there you go. We're getting the answers, and you can see exactly how it went down. And this is what's around a court. And folks, the dad of the baby is in the waiting room right now. There's a bunch of body cam, hours and hours of body cam, and they go out there and talk. There's the whole family's out there right now. I don't know if they came or what, but he's out there. So she's still with him. Yeah, rest in peace, Alex. So sad. It is sad. It really is sad. I mean, it should be taken very seriously. And when I say they go light on her, I'm just surprised that some of the rulings, like how she's out on bail, how they didn't want her at college. None of the kids wanted her there, or the people, and they ruled to let her go. But everyone was like kind of bullying her, which isn't cool. It's not a good thing to do. But yeah, she's going to college right now. Shailene, member for 2 months, sent CashApp Strategic. Appreciate you and Jay. Yes, thank you, Shailene. You're awesome.
Appreciate it. Absolutely. And I got to say this, you know, when I was younger, before getting into law enforcement, which I've been in law enforcement most of my adult life since I was 21 years old, so it wasn't that much time I had to think about it. But I was a big proponent of, forget about people. Why did they get bail? And as I matured in my career, I understand why the frame of our Constitution did the things that they did. You are innocent until proven guilty. Bail is not punishment. Bail is a means to ensure that you come back to court. Sometimes, depending on what the person did, are they a mass murderer, mass shooter, serial rapist, whatever, the bail has to be high to make sure that they come back to court. Even though we don't do bail to protect people, it's only to make sure you come back to court. But yeah, morally, we may have to put that bail really high to make sure you don't go free and hurt other people. As much as I disdain this young woman and what she did to baby Alex, you guys know so far from watching my channel, Strategic Love the Kids. Is this girl going to kill another baby, another child on the street? No. So she got bail. She had to pay money. Now she gets to fight her case from the outside. That does not mean that that after a year and a half, 2 years of being free, technically, while she's fighting a case, that she's not going to spend the next 25 years in prison. There's no correlation with the two. It's just, this is the best way, the best system that we have so far, so that we're not unjustly incarcerating people only to find out that they're innocent three years later. So I don't have a problem with her being free.
Yeah, with social media nowadays and everything, how it is instantaneous hearing about this case. I mean, they put her in the media and then they try to send her back to this college in her town and everybody hates her, right? I mean, it is innocent until proven guilty, but those people don't want her there. It's like Jen Soto. If Jen Soto was to come out, I know a few people that would do things that they would go to jail for. So that is unjust because we actually don't know we don't know the whole situation here. Now, Artist Creek interesting says HIPAA does not apply or no nurse could call CPS or the cops for medical neglect.
That's not necessarily true. So when they call, they're not giving you their medical history. They're not giving you, they're saying, hey, listen, this is an allegation. Like, we feel like this person is not medically taking care of this person. Or for the thing my expertise, sex crimes. You hear a minor is a victim of a sexual assault, you have to, as a mandated reporter, report that. Sometimes hospitals, in most instances, hospitals are ones that are mandated reporting this. You know what they'll do? They'll call and say, listen, we believe that this child has been a victim of sexual abuse, and that is all they're going to give you. That's it. And if the child is there, they'll hold the child until you come and do your investigation. Or if the child has left and they're reporting afterwards, which happens most of the time, they'll give you the name, the date of birth, the address, that stuff, contact information, location information, but they're not giving you a medical history on the person, because once again, that's protected by HIPAA. And what we're talking about is a medical situation that happened, which is the giving birth to a child. And we're talking about details of that medical situation. Right. And the mother's making
watching that, yeah.
Right. So is it okay for the nurse to say that the baby's dead? That's fine. But is it admissible when she's talking to her mother and her nurse and she's explaining what she observed when that child came out of her? That is medical. That is protected by HIPAA because she's directing those statements to the nurse and to her mother. If she would have just said that to the cop, then that would be a spontaneous utterance or a what's the other words? I had it at the top of my head. Spontaneous or excited utterance, either or the two. Spontaneous is just you're usually just talking out the mouth and saying things you shouldn't say. Excited is when like you're under duress and you're saying admissions and confessions. Either one of the two. It would just be an excited or spontaneous utterance, and that would be admissible in court. But notice her statements was not directed toward the officers. Her statement was directed toward the nurse and her mother.
And they were outside of the room. And then when they're in now, here's the problem with this. And it does get thrown out. This has gotten thrown out already. They don't read her. They say you're detained, but they still don't read. They still haven't read her rights. So anything before that, they can't use. I mean, we've seen serial killers or we've seen family annihilators get pieces thrown out that they start talking and the cops didn't read the rights. So yeah, that's why I got Strategic on here tonight, because I wanted him to break down the laws. And yeah, I agree with you, Artist Creek. As a nurse, we have to say why the child's in danger, and how else would you get the records if HIPAA were protected? But this situation is with the police addressing her and using this information that it's not admissible because they didn't read her rights and they were just kind of peeping outside the door. Now, listen, they still haven't read her rights.
Right.
All right. And listen for a minute.
You would get these records, and just to answer the question, you get these records either from a waiver or from a subpoena. Yes, you have to say why, but once again, you're not giving a full history on this person's
the Miranda. So the Miranda is the problem. Artist Creek trying to say Miranda is the problem, not the HIPAA. But
but the judge ruled that HIPAA was the problem, and I understand that Artist Creek may be a medical professional, and I'm a law enforcement professional, but a judge, if you believe in the Constitution, the judge said that the HIPAA and the Miranda was the problem. This has already been ruled upon.
That. It has. That's why I brought it up, because I wanted to bring what happens as we go to trial. I have a clip in a minute after we're done with this, and then we'll get into it's like 2 minutes on what actually happened, what was ruled, because obviously the prosecution is pissed. They're appealing the decision, but what was the decision? We didn't hear that yet. Hold on. All right, let's watch this for just a second. I don't know when they read her rights. I didn't think about that.
Yeah, she's not under arrest, but she is detained. Okay, she's not free to leave. So while this whole thing is coming up, you're not free to leave. Okay, one of us will be in here the whole time with you, because you're not going to try to leave or nothing like that. All right. Like I said, the detectives will be here.
She won't.
They're going to talk to you.
Her mom's like.
So at this moment, her constitutional rights have been suspended. Right now, okay? You keep going.
Okay,
No,
they've been
I just said,
suspended.
yeah, her constitutional rights has been suspended right now. She's not free to go. The
Right.
basis of our constitution is the freedom, right? Your freedom is now on
Right.
pause. That's
Right.
that's the seriousness of this situation.
Yeah, Lori Phillips. It's interesting because they took this piece out, and that was what I knew would be controversial is what they did and how many people feel a certain way, and then we'll listen to the quick clip on what they're trying to get, how they're trying to get it back in. But they did take this out. They are not, as of now. If trial was next week, they wouldn't have this in.
They're going to do what they need to do to take care of you to make sure you get stable. They get you transferred out or whatever. Like I said, the detectives are already been notified. They're already on the way. So they're going to come talk to you. All right. So don't leave. Don't try to do nothing. One of us is always going to be in here in this room with you. Okay. Unless we have to step out for doctor's orders or something like that, because if they need to examine you or do something with you. But other than that, like I said, you are detained. You are not free to leave at this point. Do you understand that?
There you go. She's
He's talking
detained.
a little bit too much for me.
Where was the baby at?
I don't know.
Okay, there you
I
go.
have no clue
No,
yet. Like I said, I
no,
just talked
honestly,
to the charge nurse.
Pause it real quick.
Go
I'm
ahead.
not being disrespectful to this officer, but he is talking
No.
a little bit too much for me. And the reason why is you don't want to talk too much and in any way impede what the detectives are going to do, right? Because the detectives have to play with the suspect's emotions. All right. We need to be, you don't want to keep saying you can't move your. He said that in the first sentence, and that was the end of it.
Right.
That's it. I'm not talking anymore. And I played both sides, the patrol and the detective. And when I was on the patrol side, ma'am, you're being detained. I don't have much information. You will find out everything you need to find out when the detectives come. And I'm done. He's like repeating himself. You know, that's causing duress. And that's going to make the detective's job much harder when they come, because you don't know what the detective wants to play. You know, if they want to play the bad cop or the good cop, you know, how can I finesse you and try and make you think it's not that big of a deal to get you to give me a confession if this officer has repeated 10 times the seriousness of you not leaving this room? You can't leave, you can't leave, you can't leave. Enough already.
She's not going anywhere. Right.
Your
She's not
job is
going
done,
anywhere.
bro. Your job is done. You've said what you said. Go off to the corner and just make sure she does not leave the room. I'm nitpicking a little bit, but that's an issue that we come across where these officers who are not as trained as we are, because it's not their job to be trained that way, they say too much, they do too much, and make our job more difficult, because we have the most difficult job, which is to get the person to tell and speak against their own best interests.
Right.
But let's keep going. I'm sorry.
All right. Oh, you're good. Don't. Yeah, that's why I brought you here.
We're still getting all the information right now. Okay. Once we get that information, like I said, the detectives,
Exactly.
they can clue you in on everything and talk to you more about it.
Okay.
All right.
Fifth time he said it.
He's-
Do you happen to have an ID on by chance?
Yes,
Did you
she
bring it?
does.
Okay, cool.
and they still haven't read the rights. We're gonna watch it for a minute, and then we will go over.
But he
the
doesn't have to read her
pathology.
Miranda if he's not there talking, asking her any questions, you know. So
But
I
they're
wanna see-
using the body cam. They're still
Right.
trying to use the body cam. That was the
right.
problem.
So yeah, that's correct. The fact that they want to use it later on, then Miranda needed to be read. But if they just didn't use it, which most prosecutors wouldn't try and use it because they would know that this would be thrown out, then he didn't need to read her Miranda. So I just want your audience and my audience to know you only
Right.
have to read Miranda when you plan on asking accusatory questions. That's it. You don't ever have to read Miranda. In fact, before I started investigating, I never read anyone Miranda ever, because I never was questioning them. You know, that's it. You know,
That's a good point. That's a good point. He doesn't even have to question. He's standing in there and just listening to what they're saying. The mom saying, "I told you," which is very, you know, it's damning evidence if you go to trial and you hear this. Yeah. All right. Let's listen a little more, guys, because this is the unedited stuff we didn't see.
Can we get that, please?
Look at her back here.
Get all the information. Call it in to dispatch them. Not on your radio. Okay. Call it in on your phone. Tell them I have the record of call. So hang tight right here with her, okay? And I'll be back. All
right,
now
now they're-
get your ID also, please, so we can put you.
All right.
I'll be right here, okay?
All right. Now that they're out of the room, we're done with that. Okay. So we can pull up the pathology report and you could explain a little bit more. Now you guys are going to get a little bit heated, but see, this is going to be the evidence that's presented. Not that. I don't think they need that. All right. And you have a copy of that as well, right?
Yeah, I do. Mm-hmm.
It's hard to see, folks, but we can kind of read it. So this is the pathology. So you can see what happened. It says final pathological diagnosis. It says number 1, entrapment. Found tied in a plastic trash bag. Number 2, adrenal hemorrhage. C, no injuries. So it looks like the baby came out. She put the baby in a plastic bag, wrapped it up, and put it in the trash like the picture we saw. It was they labeled it a live born male newborn, aerated lungs, air in stomach, no decomposition in or maceration, without injuries or congenital anomalies. Patent, I can't read that part. Foramen oval. Oh, it says patient foramen oval. I can't read that. And ductus arteriae. You can read that part if you want. Anyway, did you want to talk about this part? You did well on your channel with this.
No, I mean, as I said on
I can read it.
Channel, you can read it if you like. It doesn't matter to me.
But I want to you to I'll read it and then you could explain or just comment on it.
Mm-hmm. And I gotta say, I to anybody who's just popping in, I am not a doctor. I am not somebody who does autopsies. I'm just using my experience to interpret this. Okay.
Right. And now we know by the paperwork. There's no guessing what happened here. She didn't, she said that the baby wasn't, didn't make any noise, which could have been true. Either way, it doesn't matter. You don't put a trash bag over a baby and throw it in the trash. I don't know what was going through her head. Many girls do this. This is not like it's not like one of those cases where, oh my God, this has never happened. It happens a lot, surprisingly. And it does. Petty Mason, I think, cited some cases here, and there's just so many of them. We're going over the report, but it's unbelievable how many times this type of thing happens. And I think
it starts at the home. It starts at the home. Because if the mother is like, hey, I'm disappointed you got pregnant, but we're going to do the right thing and we're going to take care of this baby and we're going to support each other, then that's a different conversation than, I'm going to kick you out if you have a baby, or you're a disgrace to the family if you have a baby. That's what causes people to do these crazy things. And listen, it's inexcusable. You still got to pay. Sometimes good people make bad decisions and they still got to pay. But I think it happens a lot because it starts at home. We're dealing with people who are just in bad homes that are not supportive.
Exactly. It starts at home, and we see the mother on video. At least we get to see her, and we can see that she's really controlling. She's probably one of those mothers that's like, hey, you got to be perfect at all times. Thank you for that, Desert Moon. And I still don't know. I don't want to try to pronounce that, but it closes at birth once a baby breathes. So now we can see on paper what happened. Yeah, she feared her mother that much. She unalived her baby, and it could be a lot of things why she did that. Melly says she could have gave the baby to the hospital. She could have given the parental rights and walked away out the next day. It proves evil. It proves intent. It proves vile, a guilty crime. You know what? It is an evil act, and it happens so many times that it starts at home. It really does. Parents need to be more aware and just tell their kids, like, hey, if it happens, we'll take care of it, whatever that means. Take care of it. If we give it up, if we go get the plan B, if we go get whatever, abortion, whatever it is, there's options. We're in 2024 nowadays. Let's not do this. But her mom obviously did not educate her at all. So she looked like she was scared too. All right. Let me see if I can read this. So baby John Doe is what they called it. The baby who died. Cleaning up the blood in the restroom when they removed the trash bag. Okay, it says the cleaning staff. There's a bunch of redacted stuff. Cleaning staff were cleaning up the bathroom in the restroom. When they removed the trash bag from the trash can, they found the baby in a second trash bag under the first. At the bottom of the trash can was bloody paper towels. The trash bag he was found in was tied closed. Then it was found, and then it says something was notified of the found baby. Redacted, death was pronounced, no resuscitation was attempted. When questioned about the incident, the mother reported the baby was not crying or breathing, so she put it in the trash bag. It is thought that the placenta may have been flushed down the toilet. There you go, folks. There's the answer to that. Autopsy.
Nasty work. Nasty work.
What's that? The placenta?
Yeah, flushing your placenta down the toilet is just nasty work.
It is, and you wonder what was going through her mind. When you look at her, you're like, this girl doesn't look evil or doesn't look like she, any of the things. But I wonder how many minutes it took for her to do that, right?
Yeah.
And what was going through her mind as she did all that. Like, they were right outside the door, and I don't know what, there was blood everywhere. I mean, it's just, you just never know. Yeah, I think she did know she's pregnant. There's a lot of people. I mean, even when I went to high school, there were girls that you're like, are you pregnant? They're like, no, and then later on you find out they had a baby and they never come back to school or whatever. I went to a small high school in a small town. So this happens. They didn't kill their babies, but there are a lot that have. Yeah, I don't know if her mom was that abusive. Who knows? But I'll read this some more, and then we'll see what Strategic has to say about this. But this is the report, and it's a narrative summary, but we did see the medical, they call it entrapment, number 1, and then number 2, live born male newborn, and then the other part was the where you said about breathing and then the breath being cut off without injuries. So she just had the baby and didn't injure it or anything, and congenital anomalies. So then when they go in there's paper towels, trash bags. They notified the baby was found. The mother reported the baby wasn't crying, so she put it in a trash bag. It is thought that the placenta may have been flushed down toilet. Okay. Autopsy and postmortem computed, does that say tomography, showed an infant male without any anatomic abnormalities or obvious physical injuries. The lungs were aerated and there was air in the stomach, and no changes of decomposition. The connections in the heart, foramen, oval, and ductus arteria. I don't know how to say that, folks. I'm not. Do you know how to say that? Arteria? I don't know how to say that, but that allows proper blood flow in the utero, where were still open, which is not unusual. The adrenal gland showed microscopic hemorrhage, which can be seen in hypoxia, lack of air. Right. Postmortem viral testing showed no viruses. Postmortem bacterial culture showed no growth in the heart, blood, or left lung.
And that hypoxia, that's a slow death, basically. It's similar to somebody choking you to death. Like the air is, you don't just run out of air. Air gets less and less. You get more carbon dioxide build up in that small area. It's a very slow death, and that's messed up.
And everybody, please hit that like button for everybody on every side. And when we're done here, everybody go from my channel to his and vice versa, and go subscribe. Yes. It helps us get in the algorithm, get better people, better content, and just it helps us as content creators. So, yeah, I think this is really, sorry, Kai, that you're tearing up. We want to bring it in the best way we can, but we also want to explain it deeper than some of the places where you're just like, oh, it's heated, she's evil. Yeah, she suffocated her baby, and this is clear that she suffocated the baby. It died slow. It probably would have been, he probably would have been okay. They probably would have been able to, in my opinion, when I see that report, it looks like there wasn't anything wrong with them until she suffocated him. I don't know. What do you think about that?
He was in perfect health.
Thank you. That's what I was thinking.
That baby, if she would have given that baby up or just had the baby, that baby would be president of the United States. There's nothing wrong with that baby, period.
Right. I would have took that baby. A lot of people would have. Like I always say, Reese wants a brother or sister, folks. If any of you don't want your kids, let us know. Let me know. Hey, we'll take the kids and we'll take care of them the best. Well, we do a good job. We spoil a little, but hey, All right. I don't know how long before they checked the bathroom. I think pretty immediately after. She was in there for a while. I don't know. She did probably come out covered in blood. Everything was covered in blood, folks. That's why they went into the room and were like, hey, don't leave 12 times. Melly says, I believe it was like less than 6 minutes. They checked the bathroom. Yeah, she was in there and they were like, are you okay? Thank you, Cassie Deal. No oxygen flow. Right. Yeah, she did that though. Oh, all right, let's keep going. And yeah, it's hard, but now you guys know if this hasn't been broken down for you, you get what happened. And hopefully if you're following the trial, this helps a little bit more to understand what's going on. Okay, so we read about the lungs aerated, connection to heart, everything was good. Postmortem bacterial cultures showed no growth in the heart or left lung. We read that. Right lung, cerebrospinal fluid showed rare growth, likely contaminant bacteria, given the lack of inflammation in the lungs. Postmortem by vitreous electrolyte testing showed no abnormalities. A metabolic screen was negative. Underlying metabolic disorders. A chromosome analysis was attempted, but inadequate for interpretation. Postmortem toxicology showed phetamine, a derivative of amphetamine. Was that what her mom was using? Is that what that was? It says a derivative of amphetamine. I wonder if that was.
That's like diet stuff right there.
Okay, so those were the pills that the mom was taking, was the derivative of amphetamine. That's often used as an appetite suppressant, and morphine, an opioid narcotic analgesic. I don't know. These medications are consistent with maternal consumption and placental transfer to the baby. Oh, okay. So they did come up that she was taking the diet pills. Neuropathology examination showed a normal for age brain without any pathological findings. And these were nonspecific vascular congestion, which may be seen in hypoxia, among other things. The air in the lungs and stomach, and no evidence of decomposition is consistent with the baby having been born alive, based on the length, weight, and organ size, which is a term and compatible with the life outside the uterus. Entrapment occurs when an individual is in an airtight or relatively airtight container, in this case, a tied plastic trash bag, and consumes all the available oxygen until there's no longer enough oxygen to sustain life. Given investigative information and examination findings, the cause of manner of death are best certified as, and that was it. But that gives you a good idea of what happened, folks. Diet drugs not good for baby. I don't think anything she did was good for the baby. She didn't go to one appointment either. All right, you have any comments on this?
No, this is pretty self-explanatory, man. The baby died because she put the baby into a plastic bag. And not only that, but she sealed the plastic bag. If she'd have just put the baby in the trash, like, I'm just putting this baby in the trash and leaving, that baby would still be alive to this day. It would just be crying and breathing inside of the trash. Immediately after she left, people went into the bathroom. They would have discovered the live baby that was abandoned. It would have been an abandoned baby. But the fact that
would have done that, man. God.
The fact that she saw it fit to tie that bag, she became a murderer, man. Unbelievable.
Yeah. I mean, she could have stopped at any moment, folks. Lori Phillips says, could the morphine have inhibited the baby's breathing? I don't think so.
They
it's
obviously
not enough.
They measured the amount of all of these drugs in the baby. That's part of the pathology. They're gonna measure everything. This is what the scientists have concluded is the reason for death. It was asphyxiation. It was this entrapment that removed that put that baby in that position where that baby could not breathe. That's the only reason. They measured the amount, they measured the amount of morphine and amphetamines and all that stuff inside of the blood of the baby. It wasn't enough to cause. In fact, in the beginning of the autopsy, it says this baby was normal. This baby was normal. If you have a drink, and you should not do this, you have one drink while you're pregnant, that alcohol is going to go in the blood system of the baby. It's not going to cause anything.
Right. It's such a small amount.
We have these issues when you're constantly drinking. If you use drugs one time, depending on the drug, it's not going to hurt the baby. But if you're a drug addict and you're using the drugs constantly, that's what's going to cause the deformities and the abnormalities and development problems. This wasn't enough to hurt this baby. She sealed the bag, and that's what hurt the baby.
Yeah, and I think she did. Someone said maybe smother. I don't think there's evidence of smothering, only
No.
because the bag was just there and she did that.
Mhm.
The baby couldn't move. You would have seen
And there
the
would be
bag being.
marks.
Yeah, there'd
been
be marks. There's no
Mhm.
marks. They did their due diligence. Yeah,
Mhm.
Paul is correct. That's what it is. She murdered that baby. Period.
Mhm.
Whatever was going through her head, that's what she did. And what defense? What an earth defense are they going to attempt? Well, you know what they're attempting is that it wasn't. She didn't know. Is one of the
Mhm.
defenses. Someone's asking what that is, and that's what the defense is. In my opinion, is that she didn't know. Number one, number two, the hospital caused the death. Right? I mean,
Mhm.
what do you think the defense is? Because that's what it sounds like to me.
I mean, the pathology is going to overrule the fact that morphine hurt the baby. They can still have that defense. You can have a defense, period. It
You could
doesn't
have any
matter if it's a
defense,
good
right?
defense, right? I think their
Right.
best defense is her immaturity, mental health, and
Right.
just they're going to make a case that, hey, here's a pregnant teenager that's has some mental health issues and has a strict mother. I wouldn't be surprised if she had really good attorneys. They would put the mother on trial. Look at her. Look how overbearing she was. This girl was scared. She didn't make right decisions because her brain wasn't fully developed yet. And it's scientifically
Yeah.
proven brains aren't fully developed until you're in your mid-20s. So, they're going to put up whatever defense. I wouldn't hammer in on the defense because it really doesn't matter, because the defense attorney is going to try their best to defend their client in any way. And sometimes it's even nonsensical, the defenses they try and put up, because sometimes their client is indefensible, if that makes any sense. But I think they have
you do what you
Right.
can, though. Yeah.
Right. But I just think that, she's guilty of sin. It's just that some of those statements are rightfully being thrown out. And that doesn't mean that she's not going to be found guilty of the top charge. It's just some of those statements, which the prosecution wants because it makes it a slam dunk case. Understand, the way the case was before they got their ruling, the prosecution didn't even have to do anything. They didn't even have to study for the case. They just came in and say, look, exhibit
Thank
number
you,
12, play it,
Exactly.
call it a day.
There were doctors, the baby could have been saved. Yeah, and that's the biggest thing is everyone's so upset about is that she already had made it to the hospital, yada, 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 everything we know. And yeah, thank you, Nerdy Cat, for the $2 super chat. All of this could have just been stopped had she unlocked that damn bathroom door and let them in and not do that. But that's not where we are. And yeah, we're gonna see. And the reason I'm playing this now is because trial is coming. She has no defense, but she does have a defense. She's gonna have a defense, and we're gonna see it. So, leading up to that, I'm gonna play this last. It's like 3-minute clip. It's what the DA is appealing with the decision, and then we're gonna head into trial, folks. There is a trial date. I'll look that up, Princess Misha. I believe there's a trial date. And I'll cover this on my channel some more if you guys want to watch some of the footage with me and go over things and talk about it. That's why I did this today, so we can get into this. All right, Flyer B says, if she doesn't know she was pregnant, why did she have a baby picked and the baby name picked? If she didn't know she was pregnant, I don't know how she couldn't have. There's so many. we saw that at the beginning. Come on, folks. All right. That's almost ridiculous. All right, let's see what the DA is gonna appeal that decision. I just want to hear at legal terms what they're saying.
This legal move in a case at Rock, New Mexico, when a teen gave birth and her newborn was found dead in an Artesia hospital bathroom.
Now the state Supreme Court could weigh in on how much the jurors in her trial will get to hear. News 13's Annalisa Pardo explains.
ALEXEE TRAVIZO was just 19 years old when she had a baby in an Artesia hospital, and the newborn was found dead in the hospital bathroom. She's set to go to trial next month, but there's still a legal battle over what should and shouldn't be allowed at the trial.
All right, so July 22nd, folks, is the pre-trial hearing in the 5th Judicial Court in Carlsbad, New Mexico. So if anybody's out that way, let me know. We'll get some boots on the ground stuff. Jury trial is set for August 26th. So in between now and then, I'd like to do some more episodes with you all and get caught up. If you don't know
I'm
about
not sure that they're gonna probably get continuances on that though, because keep that in mind that they're still arguing with their appeals court. This might be one of those where you won't get a trial until
for a couple of years. Yeah.
Well, yeah, 2025. You know, because they can't just this trial hasn't started yet. Those appeal courts are hearing people who are currently serving life in prison right now, who's been waiting years for their turn, and they're not going to say, "Hey, let me put this case on pause while we figure out what's going on with this case." This case, as important as it is, it's not as important to the court that they would put other cases that are already in a queue on hold just to weigh in on this case. This case is going to be weighed into when it gets its turn. So
they're also going to have tactics. They're going to have legal. They're going to have legal tactics, the defense, to keep her out. That's my feeling. Everybody that isn't into true crime all the time and knowing legal cases, I don't think they realize that when someone does a crime, it's usually like 3 to 5 years later before they ever even go to trial. I think people forget that.
Look at Stephen Stearns. Look how dead to rights they got him. Like, they don't even need the murder aspect, and that trial is not happening no time soon.
Exactly. I keep saying that to everybody. No time soon. We don't even have Jennifer Soto in sight right now. I mean, we're getting little bits and pieces, but come on. I mean, that second car there, nowhere in 896 documents did Jennifer Soto ever say she let Stephen Stern at any time ever borrow her car, by the way. So for those that are saying Stephen Stearns probably took her car out that night and yada yada about the second car, that's not true necessarily.
Right. And I was misled by that because I didn't hear that, but my audience was like, "Oh yes, she said in an interview that she let him borrow the car," because I just got my hands on the 800 documents, so I haven't even gone through like a quarter of it. Is so much, and like, yeah, if you don't have proof, I was misled, but now you're saying, and you've read through those documents, and you're saying it's never was said there. If
never was said,
then listen, unless you are interviewing these detectives, which we know that's not happening, and they're saying that they saw on the camera that it was, Stephen Stearns in that car. We don't know. It could have possibly have been Jen Soto in that car. Could have been both of them together. Yes.
Like, I keep telling people, strategic. I keep telling people it was on the way to where she used to live. I have the address. We drove it. We mapped it out, and he was heading that way. Nobody goes out to that area, so that's a perfect place to dump. Is in the area. Jen Soto would know it. It was on the way. He got a flat tire, so. He didn't know the area. She knew the area.
Yeah, that was the next question I was going to ask you. Did he live with her in that old place where she used to live?
No, he didn't. She knew that area.
So then he wouldn't know that area. This guy.
He would know that area. She would. I'm just saying. And the reason I know a lot of this information is because I have people that are boots on the ground there. I have the advocates for Tyler Wallace and a lot of people. Yeah. So that's the only reason I have a lot of the information that people don't have. So,
well, you know what that means. We're going to bring back that slogan, lock her up, lock her up.
Lock her up. Hashtag arrest Jen Soto, folks. Yeah, that's why we don't. And the police even said, I've been watching all the interviews. They still are not confirming who was driving that car. They would have said, oh, it was Stephen Stearns. They're still not confirming it. They still are saying Jen Soto's not been compliant. So you guys.
And before you keep going, because we do have to keep the show going.
Yeah, we're almost there.
If they could say, like you said, if they could say that was Stephen Stearns, they would say it because it puts pressure on them. It puts unneeded pressure on them. Because for everybody who watches our show to get information, I guarantee you there's 10,000 more people who's calling those police stations saying, why haven't you locked her up? I'm telling you. People are vicious out there. They'll right now. You can't call that police department to ask them if Route 9 is shut down because of construction. Those phones are busy day and night with YouTubers, and I'm not telling people to do this. Please don't, because those are police facilities and they need to serve their community. Do not call them. But there are people who's calling them anyway, harassing them, saying, "Why have you locked her up?" So if they could say through the grapevine, through leaks, through press conference, that no, that wasn't her, that was Stephen Stearns, they would do it because it would alleviate the pressure on them. And the fact that they haven't done it is because it's probably her in the car, and they're just not ready to say so, because once they say so, they have to arrest her, but they're not done with their investigation yet.
They are not done with their investigation. They didn't focus on her. They're still going through all the material. yes, they would have said, oh, it was Stephen Stearns driving the second car. They're letting bits and pieces. We still have 600 more pages, 604. Wait, they have 1,700 pages? No, 1,500 pages. So they have another 604 pages to let out, folks, and they're letting it out slow. So just think of that. And yeah, they would have been like, oh, it's Stephen Stearns. They have all the cameras. All right, let's finish this up. But yeah, we have a lot more information than some people do. And I just want you all to know that we're pretty sure that Jen Soto is going to be arrested sooner or later.
Dead baby in oh my gosh. That's very freaking out of me. I didn't know what to do.
That's just one of the statements ALEXEE TRAVIZO made from her hospital bed in January of 2023. That's at the center of this latest question in the case. Her defense argued it's among the evidence that should not be allowed in her upcoming trial, arguing her doctor-patient privilege and Miranda rights were violated when hospital staff turned over information to police and when TRAVIZO was waiting in the hospital room.
She didn't agree to have the doctor act as a police officer and help interrogate her with police officers in the room. At the time, they already had her.
So this is what we're saying. We got another 2 minutes and then we'll wrap it up. Everybody, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, all the stuff, help out the channel so we can have more content and better content. But yeah, these are the legal terms. And I think this might be, is this her attorney?
That's her attorney. And when your attorney looks like Colonel Sanders, you know you've got a good attorney. Listen, this guy's on it, man.
He is. And listen to it. Yeah. Listen. Hey, Colonel Sanders, bring back the chicken wings. Damn it.
Yeah, I miss the chicken wings. Come on, man.
Out here in California, I'm missing those KFC Colonel Sanders chicken wings. All right.
Custody, she was not free to go.
Meanwhile, according to court documents, the state argued this was not a HIPAA violation and that TRAVIZO waived her rights when she started talking to doctors with her mother and police in the room, and that she was not in police custody at the time. Originally, a district court judge sided with the evidence, ruling that evidence should be suppressed, but the state is now appealing that decision.
All I can say is that obviously it was evidence that we believe was proper. Evidence that we believe we should be able to use. We respectfully disagree with the court.
The DA.
I'm sorry, I laughed over that, but somebody said Agro Vixen said the attorney looked like a skeleton from Tales from the Crypt. That's what I'm trying to say.
Agro Vixen, long time viewer of the Strategiceyes show. She's been with me for years. It's good to see you back.
What's up? Good to see your comment. I'm a Tales from the Crypt. I've seen everyone times 100, so that was a good reference.
Do me a personal favor. Make sure you go over to Guilty of Crime and you show her the same loyalty and dedication you've shown me over the years, and you subscribe to her channel. Excellent channel over here.
Thank you. And vice versa to everybody else. And I see that you guys are dual streaming. That's how diligent these Guilty of Crimers are. They're just all over it. They love the community. And so do we. So we appreciate you, Strategic. All right.
DA's office is asking the state's highest court to reverse the decision and allow TRAVIZO statements to come out in court. While the district attorney said she can't speak on specifics due to a court seal, she did speak to why her office is committed to prosecuting this case.
Is this really just a medical issue that is private and confidential, or were there some type of actions that we believe rise to the level of criminal intent? And so when we believe that it rises to the level of criminal intent, obviously our job is to protect children. And so especially.
All right, real quick, since everybody's asking, and I love you all and I pay attention to the comments, you didn't miss anything. The dad of the baby hasn't said anything. I haven't played any of that yet. There is body cam, and he's in the waiting room, and he just acts surprised. So there's really nothing from the dad. I mean, he knocked her up and he was out cheating on her all over the place. So it's not his responsibility. He doesn't care. And there's not much. Either way, he's probably glad he doesn't have a baby, and he's probably not being loyal now.
Any infant who obviously cannot protect themselves.
My great fear is that in the haste to try to convict people, our appellate courts ignore those constitutional rights that we've had for centuries.
TRAVIZO is charged with first-degree murder and tampering with evidence. She's under strict conditions of release while awaiting trial. Back to you.
There's no timeline on when the state Supreme Court may decide on whether to take up this case. Both the defense and the prosecution say it is now unlikely this case will go to trial as planned next month.
Yep, there you go. There's your answer. We're going to stop this. We'll bring us up here, and then we'll say I messed up my thing here. So we're going to leave it like that because I was doing a podcasts, and I have the side-by-sides like that. All right. Kirsten Miller, the perfect person that might be able to tell you you're waiting for Jen Soto to be arrested. You're confused as to why they haven't done it yet. Strategic, give us your expert opinion on that, and then we can drop that. I know we're on a different case.
Well, what people got to understand is that once you take away the exigency of getting somebody off the streets because they might be a danger to the rest of the public, law enforcement typically slow down. All right. And there's two competing investigators in a criminal case. You have the law enforcement element, which is like the detectives, etc. And then you have the district attorneys and the county attorneys. I'm going to tell you this. When I bring big cases to my county attorney, they make me slow down. They want attorneys. They don't like the way that we bring cases as detectives to them because they want even more evidence. They want every person that ever walked past the crime scene to be interviewed. And right now, that county attorney in Kissimmee is involved in this case. They're going to want to speak to everybody that Jen Soto ever looked at. They want to see every single car that ever went past. This case is active. They're just doing a very thorough job. Okay, that's it. Don't fret. We will get an answer soon. If they choose not to indict her, then we'll get an explanation in a press conference as to why they feel that she didn't commit a crime. There's a possibility she may not be arrested, but I do believe at this moment they have not made that decision yet. At this moment, they're still investigating her, and that's what I think the holdup is. She's not going to go out there and hurt any other kids. She doesn't have any other kids to hurt. And the main culprit, the beast, he's in jail. He's never hurting anybody ever again.
And that's a problem, is he's not talking. There were 3 people that were in that vicinity of that whole time frame where she was getting assaulted. One of them's dead. One of them's not talking, and the other one's hiding. So the cops,
and she's not talking either. She's got an attorney.
Yeah, well, that's why I say she's hiding. She's not talking, and she's got an attorney. Yeah, but yes, she's not talking. She's given that one statement, and the one statement was pretty incriminating, if I do say so myself, when she says, "Oh yeah, well, I sent them to bed together that night." It's almost like she was justifying in case they found something. Yeah, that's normal. I do that all the time, but I didn't know. So just like cops have gut feelings, we can have gut feelings, but it's not hard evidence, and a judge will not go on our gut feelings.
They need evidence. They need evidence. They need something that shows that she knew. They need text messages, video, photos. They need evidence. Right now, I think based off of what they had, they do have a child abuse charge because she should have known sending the child to bed with this man is a danger to the child. It's a danger to send any child to bed with a man that's not their biological father. But, that's a charge they could charge at any time. They could have charged her the day that they found the body. They could have charged at any time. What they're looking for are the real charges, the murder, the sex abuse. These are the charges they're looking for. Another thing that's a delay is a lot of these social networks and these different platforms. It takes time to get those subpoenas back. It takes months to get those subpoenas back.
True too. Very
it's
true.
a long time. So
they could have got her records and
if she was with Apple, guess what? Apple doesn't like to share information. If she was with Apple, they might have her phone and they may not have been able to decrypt that phone yet. Inside of that phone might be a wealth of information, and they may not have been able to decrypt it yet because of Apple's decryption, and that might be the holdup, waiting for that phone to get decrypted. So, there's just a lot going on that we don't know, but we might get justice in this case. And I have a feeling that they're going to charge her with something. It's just about what and when.
And in the meantime, we just be patient. Let's focus on the other cases that do need justice and that are moving forward. Like ALEXEE TRAVIZO, we're talking about today. We'll be patient together. And in the meantime, let's never normalize people sending their children to bed with anybody. All right. So my channel, I'm anti. I don't care if it's an aunt, an uncle, a sister, a cousin, older. They don't need to be in the bed together. In some states, it's illegal to do that. Okay, kids get feelings and they have all these things going on in their head, and nowadays everything's sexualized on TV, and it's just better to not do that. Let's just not normalize that. There's other channels out there saying, well, if you don't trust your husband, you should divorce him if you can't sleep with it. No, don't divorce your husband.
Everything is age appropriate. You know, can you sleep
Yes.
in a bed with your 5-year-old? Of course. You know, like, but when a 13-year-old, come on, let's be serious
Right.
here. You
And
know,
I'm not somebody that's a swinger that's in multiple relationship with multiple. I mean, go case to case. They weren't even in a relationship at the time, but even the years before, they were broken up so many other times. Jen Soto hasn't came out and said that yet, but that's the case. They were swingers in both different relationships, and she was giving her child to that guy that wasn't a boyfriend most of the time. So that's a lot different than like, oh, you've been a stepdad for 7 years, you know, you still don't send them to bed with them. Don't send your kids to bed with anybody, folks.
right.
But
There's no consistency there. You know, she's bringing other men and women inside of that household.
Yep.
You know, it's not like this is the guy that raised her since she was a baby. And, you know, he's
No.
accepted her as his child, even though they're not biological. That happens,
Right.
but this is not the case. All right. These some freaky deaky, weird people who put this child in a very dangerous situation. And the only person that had a duty, a true duty, Stephen Stoto had a moral duty, a duty that stems from his humanity. But the only person that had a true duty to protect her was her mother. Because
Absolutely.
there's monsters in this world. You can't, you know, you can't make somebody not a monster. Stephen Stearns is a monster. He's been a monster since he was a little kid when he was peeping in on his friend's mother and videotaping his roommate's girlfriends. He's been a monster forever.
Thank you, Carly.
But
Right.
it was Jen Soto's job to protect her from the monster, because he just simply did what monsters do.
And to repeat this never happening, or it's going to happen, but to happen less, folks, you can't tell who monsters are. You can't tell their age. Sometimes you got 13-year-old boys doing this. It could be a girl doing this. It could be anybody doing this. Let's just make a rule here on this channel and let your kids sleep in their own bed and don't put them with the parents. It's different case to case. You know, if it's a father or a mother and they go, my daughter slept on the couch with us. We all passed out on the couch last night. That's not the same as what we're talking about here. So yeah, that whole like situation, divorce them if you don't trust them. No, that's ridiculous. You're trying to normalize chomos. You're trying to normalize if you're a stepfather. Let them sleep with them if you don't trust them. No, not okay. And everyone knows what channel I'm talking about. Just saying, please don't normalize that. I see a lot of people saying, agreeing with that and saying, oh yeah, I got a stepdad for 5 years and I would let him stay. Well, you're the idiot then. Just don't do it. That's all. I'm off my rant. It's not the same case, but it just makes me upset because I can't believe people do that to their children, you know? So never normalize it, guys, ladies. All right. Strategic, you have anything to wrap this up? The ALEXEE TRAVIZO case.
Nah, man, I think it's going to be an interesting trial. I hope that they televise it so we can track it on Court TV and Law and Crime, or the usual suspects who televise these things. I'll definitely be paying attention to it. But before the trial even starts, I'm interested to see what the Supreme Court wants, not the Supreme Court, but the Court of Appeals wants to do with this judge's ruling that has already been ruled upon, ladies and gentlemen. This is the law of the court right now. Whereas the prosecution is asking that ruling be thrown out or rescinded or sent back for reconsideration.
Right. And we'll follow up on that as well. I'll check your channel and vice versa, because I love your input. And yeah, I'm going to do some body cam stuff coming up, folks, that you guys can see. If you didn't see a lot of things, we have some unedited where things aren't blurred out, body cam, and we'll talk more about the case. But tonight I'm going to go get something to eat, and Strategic's got his family. It's late over there. So thank you for being here. Everybody go subscribe. We appreciate you, and let's keep the community going. We'll do some more collabs when you have a chance.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for hosting me. Thank you for all the new subscribers. You guys have a good one.
Yeah, you too. Good night, everybody, and be safe.
guilty of crime?
I want to thank you for watching. If you enjoyed my content, please share this video, like, and subscribe. You can also follow me over at Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, X, or Gmail. If you'd like to donate to my channel, you can use CashApp or Venmo or PayPal. Thank you very much in advance. Guilty of crime.
Are you guilty of crime?